Next on NBC Palm Springs Midday, COVID-19 cases now topping 3 million in the United States. The efforts to slow the spread. And a local community center hit by racism and vandalism. How they're standing together stronger. Jerry.
Another day just like yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before. Yeah, a lot of sunshine over the Coachella Valley and temps that'll be slightly above average. But that'll be mild compared to what's heading your way this weekend. Excessive heat. Forecast coming up.
Is NBC Palm Springs.
And good morning, Coachella Valley, and thank you for joining us for NBC Palm Springs Midday. I'm Joe Smith. I'm glad you're here. Jerry, can you describe the weather without using the word hot?
122.
What?
122 in our future. That's what we could see in the Coachella Valley. Yeah, it's going to be scary hot. But today, yeah, closer to normal. We're looking at temps that'll be just above that range of highs. Wow. That is kind of typical for early July. Cloud-free guarantee today. I'm not going to see anything over the Coachella Valley. That may change late tomorrow, though. Hot and dry weather pattern with us today. But excessive heat is in our future. In fact, yes, we could see some 120s in the Coachella Valley. Records will be shattered over the Southwest with this heat wave that's going to happen very soon. So enjoy this number today. 110 degrees for Palm Springs. Full forecast in 7 days in just a bit.
Thanks, I think.
Coronavirus coverage brought to you by East Valley COVID-19 testing site, serving residents of eastern Coachella Valley.
The United States now has more than 3 million cases of coronavirus, 10% added since July 1st. That means more than 300,000 cases were diagnosed in the last week alone. The national death toll is nearly 132,000 and rising as cases appear to be spiking in various parts of the country. Taking a look at how many people have died so far, more than 131,000 across the country, 6,400 here in California, 506 in Riverside County, and 137 in our valley. President Trump is threatening to cut school funding if they do not reopen sometime soon. He took to Twitter this morning to discuss the topic of schools reopening nationwide. He says he disagrees with the CDC guidelines for safely reopening, calling them very tough and impractical. But at a White House coronavirus task force briefing this morning, Vice President Mike Pence says the White House will be respectful of places that can't reopen schools.
Maybe some states and local communities that given cases or positivity in that community may adjust to either a certain set of days or certain limitations, and we'll be very respectful of that.
And there are many complicated questions about how schools can reopen safely with cases still on the rise. Stephanie Gosk reports.
The moms want it, the dads.
President Trump is putting the responsibility to reopen schools this fall squarely on the shoulders of the country's governors.
We're very much going to put pressure on governors and everybody else to open the schools to get them open. They think it's going to be good for them politically, so they keep the schools closed.
But in places where the virus is surging, there are concerns that it would not be safe, like in Arizona.
Would you feel comfortable as an emergency room doctor right now in Arizona sending kids back to school tomorrow?
Oh, no, I would not. I would not recommend that for any parents. Not yet.
In Florida's Miami-Dade County, where the mayor started rolling back the reopening of businesses after a spike in cases there, the superintendent of the nation's fifth largest school district is not exactly ready to throw open the doors either.
I think it is logistically, legitimately impossible.
But Alberto Carvalho is working on a plan for when the case numbers go down. Among the biggest challenges, how is it possible to maintain social distance in often crowded schools?
Social distancing, single direction hallways, utilizing non-traditional educational space, required personal protective equipment.
What happens if a teacher or student gets the virus?
They'll have to be in quarantine. And unfortunately, all those in contact with that teacher or employee affected would also have to be in quarantine.
The other big hurdle for school systems nationwide is money. How will they pay for all this?
Additional federal support is needed at this time for the resources, for the cleaning supplies, for additional manpower to ensure aggressive sanitization and additional staff for the supervision of students.
Health experts say the guidelines for returning to school will change depending on location. Parents, teachers, and students will have to be flexible because the virus is so unpredictable. Meanwhile, a number of national teacher organizations are calling on the government for a cohesive national plan that includes, among other things, lots of money. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
Harvard and MIT file a lawsuit against ICE over a policy that would prevent international students from staying in the country. The policy states students taking online courses cannot take a full class load and remain in the U.S. This forces international students either to transfer schools or leave the country, which means they could lose their visas for the upcoming school year. The U.S. officially withdraws from the World Health Organization. Lawmakers are calling President Trump's decision during the pandemic chaotic and incoherent. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo backs the decision, calling WHO incompetent.
The president's made very clear, we are not going to underwrite an organization that has historically been incompetent and not performed its fundamental function there.
The withdrawal goes into effect July of next year. And during this time, stress and anxiety are at an all-time high. In the month of May, research shows there was a 42% jump in drug overdoses in the United States. And here at home, the Betty Ford Center says it's getting flooded with calls about mental health issues. The center is taking its support groups online.
People are gathering, there's small talk before the group begins. People are offering one another encouragement and support. They're able to work through their emotions, identify triggers, and do really much of the same work that they would conventionally outside of COVID-19.
Research is underway to see how effective the virtual group therapy is doing during the pandemic. Here's a live look from our Agua Caliente Casino cam in Palm Springs. Let's check in with Jerry with a forecast that, boy, it's not only going to be steamy, but it's just going to be downright hot.
Yeah, it's very dry right now as you look at our Agua Caliente Casino camp. Blue skies right now. We'll see a few clouds move in late tomorrow. 96 degrees is our current temp at the airport. Winds are calm. 13% relative humidity. It's drying out. We'll see that drop to the single digits in the next couple of hours. 73 at Big Bear. Doing a temp check, 89 at Yucca Valley, 93, 29 Palms. Any triple digits, 97 at Desert Hot Springs, 98. At Indio, there's a triple digit. Mecca, they began on the cool side, but they heated up quickly. 101 at this hour, 100 at Rancho Mirage, 101 at Indian Wells. So yes, we are moving into triple digits already. Clear skies over the valley, plenty of sunshine today. Matter of fact, all sunshine this afternoon. Nothing on radar over the southwest. We do have light winds that'll kick in out of the west a little later on today, but 109 to 112 the range of highs. Nothing unusual about those numbers. Basically dew points in the upper 20s, low 30s for us in the middle of of the afternoon, and temperatures that'll get close to 110 for many of us later today. But keep in mind, things change this weekend. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we'll be close to 120 degrees, and because of that, we have an excessive heat watch that will be a warning for those 3 days. It's going to be excessively hot around the Coachella Valley, dangerously hot. We'll have some of those numbers specifically for each of those cities coming up in the full forecast. Comfort Air 3-day forecast, still mild today, tomorrow, and again on Friday. Temperatures around that 110 mark. Full forecast, and look at those excessively hot numbers in just a few minutes.
All right, Jerry, thank you. Vandals targeted the James O. Jesse Desert Highland Unity Center in Palm Springs. Police arrested a suspect, but as our Kitty Alvarado reports, people are still upset about the vandalism.
Jarvis Crawford couldn't believe what he found when he went to work on Tuesday morning at the James O. Jesse Desert Highland Unity Center in Palm Springs.
I see glaring on the wall all these negative words and writing all over the wall. And then I noticed the front door glass was shattered. And then I noticed there's tires thrown and big rocks and boulders all over the building. It just shocked me.
Crawford says this is a predominantly black community, but this center serves everyone.
I don't understand why people feel a certain way. You know, I don't know why hate is shown in this way towards a community center. This is a center that gives back to all people.
LaVon Stagg Hope grew up here and is now raising her daughter here. She says this gathering place is there for people in her community, and vandalizing it insults what it represents.
I was shocked. I was upset. I was sad. This is our place that we come to socialize, to be a community, and to have someone come in and, in a sense, wreck that community. We don't deserve that.
Natalie Edwards says she's lived here for 44 years, and this is the first time something like this has happened. She says it hurt to see this place of refuge destroyed.
I immediately fell to tears because, you know, we've taken on so much as a community.
The Palm Springs Police Department says they arrested 45-year-old Palm Springs resident Charinda Gatakonda at the community center just after 5 o'clock Tuesday morning. They say he called them to report a fire there. There was no fire, but police found the vandalism and an unloaded shotgun, an airsoft pistol, and he had a dagger.
I could completely understand why the community's hurt, because this is not acceptable. This is a public building where people enjoy. They bring their children to, their families. I've been there for several meetings. I understand the pride in that building. And this is not acceptable in that neighborhood, and it's not acceptable anywhere, and we're going to deal with it.
Natalie's message for the person who did this says a lot about the community targeted.
Thank you, because all this do is make us stronger, and we're going to unite, and regardless of whatever, we're going to always be united.
Kitty Alvarado, NBC Palm Springs.
And police say they believe vandalism at the Iron Palm Tattoo Parlor is linked to the vandalism at the Unity Center. The graffiti appears to be similar. And police now believe Gatakonda spoke with them earlier in the evening after saying he was shot in Palm Springs. If you have any information about either of these incidents, you're asked to call the Palm Springs Police Department. The Laugh Factory Comedy Club unveils a 140-foot-long mural as a tribute to Black Lives Matter in West Hollywood. The large mural was painted by 5 local black artists. It was commissioned by the Laugh Factory and a Los Angeles city councilman. The mural is believed to be one of the largest in the nation, created in tribute to BLM. A family in Carmel captured video of a man spewing racist insults at them while eating at a restaurant. That man is the CEO of the San Francisco tech company Solid 8. Melody Woodrow has the story.
Raymond DeRosa and his family were having dinner on his wife's birthday, July 4th, at Carmel Valley restaurant Lucia.
We were there just celebrating, having fun.
When that fun quickly disappeared, as the man you can see in the background of the celebratory picture began ranting.
Suddenly I hear this loud voice, effing Asians.
Arosa's niece, Jordan Chan, recorded what happened next on her cell phone.
Say that again. Oh, now you're shy?
Michael Lofthouse gave the family the finger, then said,
You need to leave.
Oh, you do not talk to him just like that.
Which one?
You need to leave.
Asian piece of
Oh my God.
He was full of hate and anger. It's sad that there's still people that are like that in this world. let alone in this country.
A Lucia employee quickly stepped in.
Do not talk to our guests like that. Get out now.
Who are these?
They are valued guests.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
they're valued guests.
Yeah.
I admire her for that.
In an emailed statement, the vice president and general manager at Bernardus Lodge and Spa in part writes, quote, "We are proud of our staff at Lucia in keeping with Bernardus Lodge's core values." Michael Lofthouse also issued a statement writing, quote, "My behavior in the video is appalling. This was clearly a moment where I lost control and made incredibly hurtful and divisive comments. I would like to deeply apologize to the Chan family. I can only imagine the stress and pain they feel. I was taught to respect people of all races, and I will take the time to reflect on my actions and work to better understand the inequality that so many of those around me face every day."
He's just saving face, I think. I think he really meant what he said and what he did. I don't believe his words because his actions speak louder than the words he's saying.
Arosa says those actions in part include additional Instagram comments that appear to have been posted by Lofthouse directed at one of the family's supporters that include Asian expletive and "come near me or my people and you are expletive dead." Lofthouse did not respond to a request for an additional comment about the Instagram post or his role as Solid 8 CEO, a San Francisco-based tech company.
I can't say what he did was acceptable or right. No, it isn't. It isn't, because a lot of people will probably disagree with me by saying I forgive him, but I do.
That was Melanie Woodrow reporting. Now, the family says this experience isn't going to stop them from visiting the area again. It's an annual tradition for them. A San Francisco official is proposing an act that would fine those who call 911 over racial bias. Karen is a nickname to identify usually white women who make false claims about someone because of their race. A well-known example is the, quote, Central Park Karen. So now San Francisco City Supervisor Shaman Walton is proposing the Karen Act. That's Karen with a C. It stands for Caution Against Racially Exploitive Non-Emergencies. Up next, it's started as a lockdown of the 29 Palms Marine base. It ended with a Marine taking his own life. We have the details next. A Marine is dead after a lockdown at 29 Palms Marine Base. Reports first came in of an active shooter situation yesterday morning. And as Olivia Sandusky reports now, that's when we learned the Marine was being treated for a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Tuesday morning at 29 Palms Marine Base began with an alert of an active shooter, urging residents to shelter in place.
We received a call around 6:30 that there was a shooting incident aboard the installation. We had our military policemen come on to the scene, and they took control of the situation. They, from that point, cordoned off the area.
Gates were closed, and representatives for the base say military police were in communication with a Marine for almost 2 hours. But just before 9 o'clock, they announced that shelter in place was lifted, and the USMC confirmed that a Marine sustained a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
We took the individual and we treated him. We took him over to Desert Regional over in Palm Springs, and we opened up the gates around that time. And now we're back to normal operations, and everything's under control.
No other injuries have been reported, and the Marine has not yet been identified. The base is working to confirm a motive for the shooting.
At this time, it's currently under investigation, so I don't have that information as to whether it was intentional or malicious or anything like that.
Olivia Sandusky, NBC Palm Springs.
And still, officials have not yet released the identity of the Marine. The investigation continues. The Supreme Court sides with the Trump administration on a change to birth control coverage under the Affordable Care Act. The justices ruled 7-2 that the administration can allow employers to refuse to provide free birth control for workers if they cite religious or moral objections. Between 75,000 and 125,000 women would lose contraceptive coverage. New guidance from the CDC recommends changes to the way we vote in elections to reduce the spread of COVID-19. They recommend longer voting periods, alternative voting methods, and face mask usage. The guidance also says there should be more polling places with scheduled voting times. People are also encouraged to vote at off-peak times. Mexico's president is visiting the White House today. The White House is promoting the visit as a celebration of the United States, Canada, and Mexico trade agreement. The trade treaty took effect July 1st, replacing NAFTA. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau declined the invitation. He had a cabinet meeting and Parliament planned, so he did not attend. Brazil's president tests positive for the coronavirus. Bolsonaro confirmed the results yesterday, saying he felt well and normal. He previously said his history as an athlete would protect him from the virus, and it would be nothing more than a, quote, little flu. He was also in close contact with the U.S. ambassador to Brazil over the weekend. Neither were wearing masks. Coming up, Sandy Newton is here with another silver lining. Hint, it's a place where you can talk to the animals. And here's a live look at our Agua Caliente Casino Cam in Palm Springs. Jerry's got your AccuWeather forecast after the break.
lot of blue skies in our Agua Caliente casino cam. It's going to be a hot one today, but mild hot for early July for the Coachella Valley because those numbers are going to skyrocket very soon. Excessive heat is heading in our direction. Yesterday we had temperatures that were slightly above average. Nothing crazy though. 112 was our high, 107 the average, and the 122, that was the record high set back a few years ago in Palm Springs. And you know what? We're going to be close to that number very soon. Yes, very hot. Dangerous heat is moving in our direction and in our near future. Right now, seeing a few triple digits pop up in the 11 o'clock hour, including Palm Springs at 100, 99,000 Palms, Coachella 98 at this hour, under sunshine at Desert Hot Springs, 89 Yucca Valley, 90 at Cabazon, 84 at Banning, 94 right now at 29 Palms. Yeah, a lot of sunshine over the valley, not a whole lot going on over the southwest. Just like yesterday, radar quiet as well. Today, yeah, we do have a ridge of high pressure, keeping temperatures a few notches above where we should be. 109 to 112, the range of highs today. And like I said, that's not all that bad for this time of year. A lot of sunshine to go with that. Onshore flow will kick in a little later on tonight. As far as the coast, that's where the cool stuff is. 70s for highs along the coast. A few miles inland, we're looking at middle 80s. That's the 85-degree high for Los Angeles. But yeah, at or slightly above 110 this afternoon for the Coachella Valley. Triple digits up north, 90s for the San Gorgonio Pass. And tomorrow, similar numbers around the Coachella Valley. But things change this weekend. Saturday, that ridge really strengthens. It'll pull up a little bit of moisture. We could see some showers around San Diego County, but it's the heat we're going to be talking about. 115 to 120, that's Saturday. Here's a specific look at what we can expect those 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Saturday, 117s and 118s, possibly 119s. Sunday, look at this, 121s and 122s are possible in the valley, and we'll see similar numbers on Monday before the numbers back off a little bit. So excessive heat watches in effect for the valley. Could see numbers up to 122 those 3 days. We could see records fall too. Matter of fact, we will over the southwest. Interesting enough is thermal is forecast to hit 122 on Sunday. That will smash the old record of a 120 set back in 85. Clear skies today, clouds moving in late Thursday. We'll see some clouds over the weekend. Basically dry today and tomorrow as far as relative humidity, single digits. Those numbers begin to move up as we approach the weekend. Christina is our latest tropical storm. Here's the latest on the system. It has strengthened since this morning, 60-mile-an-hour winds, moving its way to the west-northwest. It'll become a Category 1 hurricane by tomorrow, maybe Friday, and then weekend as it moves into drier air and cooler sea surface temperatures. Here's your Comfort Air 7-day forecast. So 110 today, about the same Thursday, Friday, before the numbers move on up big time. 118 for Palm Springs Saturday and Sunday, Monday as well.
Our Sandy Newton is back with another silver lining, and this time it's for the Living Desert. They thought they might have to close again.
Hey, that's right. Good morning, Joe. Well, you know, it is good news, and it's a silver lining, especially for our valley and those who are visiting our valley, because, yeah, you know, of course, we've had some recent shutdowns and some reclosures, of course, understandable. We're trying to stop the spread, so it makes sense to do those cautionary, you know, details. But the Living Desert has some good news to share with us, so I don't want to give it away, but it is definitely a silver lining.
Well, the good news is, you know, those animals need to be fed, and that means that they need to get people through the gate, so I'm glad they're open.
That's true. It's an enormous expense to take care of that vast, vast property, and what a treasure it is for our valley. So we're so happy for them, and of course they're happy too. Plus, I think they have a new exhibit that a lot of our locals haven't seen yet, so now's a great time. Even though it's a little warm, Jerry said it's going to cool down, so you know, we will have some great opportunities to experience our Living Desert.
All right, let's look.
Well, this is a true silver lining for our valley. The Living Desert has some good news, so we want to welcome Alan Monroe. Welcome, Alan. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, it's my pleasure. Glad to come and join you.
Well, you know, I know that the governor's orders were a little confusing. We've had to, of course, reclose some attractions and restaurants and bars, of course, to stop the spread, which we all understand. But we want everyone to understand that there's an important update from the Living Desert. So please share it with us.
Absolutely. You know, about 4 weeks ago, the governor's orders let institutions like the Living Desert that had outdoor opportunities to open back up. And then this last few days ago, the governor came out with this new revise that said that zoos were on the prohibited list, but the fine print said that the indoor facilities for zoos had to be closed, not zoos in general. And so the good news is that since we reopened on last month, we have already implemented everything the governor has been asking for from day one. So we've already closed our indoor facilities. We only had a few. And we put in place all these standard COVID safety concerns that we have in terms of social distancing, hand sanitizer, time ticketing, to make sure that everybody feels as safe and comfortable when they come and visit our wonderful facility.
Well, that is such great news for all of us, because I know during the pandemic, when you did have to close, it's an enormous expense to keep the animals healthy and fed. So you really do welcome visitors, because of course economics are crucial to keeping our Living Desert thriving.
They are, and of course we're part of the local community, so we were glad to be able to shut down early on and help slow down the spread of the COVID virus. But for a nonprofit like us that has such a high fixed operational cost, you know, we can't just close our doors and walk away. We've got, you know, hundreds of animals that require medical and veterinary and animal care and feeding and things like that. And so we have a pretty high, it costs us about $22,000 a day just to operate the zoo at the core, very minimum amount of staff just to keep us going. So it was a bit of a stress while we were closed, and so we're certainly glad to be able to open it back up and have visitors come back and start the turnstiles turning and helping to bring in revenue to tide us over the slow summer season we have here.
Well, we are so happy, because I understand you actually have a new exhibit that you were going to debut at the end of March, but because of the pandemic you weren't able to, and it involves some of our Australian friends.
Yes, our friends from down under. And so we have a new animal experience called Australian Adventures. It was scheduled to open up on March 21st, and we actually had to close on March 17th. So the wallabies spent about 3 months waiting for their debut and their chance to shine in the sun. And so when guests come to the park now, they've got this new wonderful habitat. It's a little unique in that it's designed so it's an immersive habitat. The guests are invited to come into the wallaby space. The wallabies are free roaming. We ask the guests to stay on the pathway, and the wallabies can come and go as they please. So it's a chance to get up close and personal and see some of these amazing animals from down under. We have 2 different species of wallabies. We have emus, have a number of other birds from Australia, and even some of the really big reptiles that make Australia so famous.
Wow. Well, it is so exciting. I can tell you personally, I have joined the Living Desert for over 2 decades. I brought my sons in their strollers, and now they're young adults and they love it, and they're going to be coming out from LA to visit. So thank you so much for all you do, and give us those hours again so folks can know when they can come out to the Living Desert.
Absolutely. We're in our summer season right now, so the park opens up at 7 a.m. And the last ticket is at 1 o'clock, and then they close the park at 1:30. And because we have time ticketing, you can go online now and reserve your time. So if you're an early bird, you can get there bright and early at 7 o'clock when it's still nice and cool and enjoy the park and have it almost to yourself on any given day.
Sounds like a date. Thank you so much, Alan, for joining us. We'll see you at the Living Desert.
My pleasure.
In consumer news, the U.S. is looking at banning TikTok and other Chinese social media apps. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announced this Monday. The idea comes amid rising tensions between the U.S. and China and as scrutiny on TikTok and Chinese technology firms continues to grow. The coronavirus pandemic is boosting job opportunities for freelance workers. This according to a new report from Freelancer. Freelance jobs, the openings increased over 25% during the April to June quarter of this year. That's compared to the first 3 months of the year. Stress and anxiety are at an all-time high in the month of May. Research shows that there was a 42% jump in drug overdoses across the country. Here at home, the Betty Ford Center says it's getting flooded with calls about mental health issues. Our Daytona Everett shows us how the center is working overtime to adapt.
Eisenhower Health is swamped with patients struggling with COVID-19. Down the street, the Betty Ford Center is also treating patients, but their struggles with the COVID-19 pandemic look very different.
It's been a very interesting time, very challenging.
Chris Yadrin, administrator of the Betty Ford Center, has been navigating this unprecedented time just like everyone else. But the needs of his patients are dire. Just like COVID-19 cases, drug overdoses have surged in recent months.
Addiction doesn't take a break in the midst of the pandemic.
There was an 18% jump nationally in March, 29% in April, and 42% in May. For people who need the highest level of care in terms of medical stabilization, they're being treated in person.
In terms of outpatient treatment, we have a lot of virtual resources as well in which people have been able to connect virtually.
Because of safety concerns, our crew wasn't allowed inside the center. But this video shows what a virtual support group would look like.
People are gathering, there's small talk before the group begins. People are offering one another encouragement and support. They're able to work through their emotions, identify triggers, and do really much of the same work that they would conventionally outside of COVID-19.
Yadrin says some patients actually prefer it. With the click of a button, recoverygo.org gives people the opportunity to not feel isolated, even when they're forced into social isolation mid-pandemic.
That was Daytona Everett reporting. The Butler Center of Research is conducting a study to see how effective the virtual therapy is at the Betty Ford Center throughout the pandemic. If you or someone you know needs help, you can find resources at recoverygo.org. As we head to break, let's take a live look outside. This is our Walter Clark Highway 111 camera. Jerry's up with your full forecast right after the break. Stay with us, please.
Hey, let's start with our usual look at the Agua Caliente Casino cam, see what's happening outside. We have temperatures that are already moving into triple digits around the valley. A few 90s still hanging around, but that won't last long. 100 degrees at Palm Springs at the airport, 99 at Desert Hot Springs, 90 Yucca Valley, 91 at Cabazon at this hour. It's going to be a hot day today, but as I called it last hour, it's normal hot for this time of year for early July. Clear skies over the valley, not much going on over the southwest. Radar quiet as well. Will remain so over the next few days. So 109 to 112, that'll be our range of highs today under lots of sunshine, including a 110 today at Palm Springs, 111 at Indio, and you can expect the same range of temps tomorrow and somewhat Friday. Big changes, though, this coming weekend. This is Saturday. We'll have a ridge of high pressure that'll strengthen and boost those numbers well above average, 115 to 120. That's for Saturday. And we'll see those numbers move up a little higher on Sunday, but very light winds, so no relief from that. We'll see a little extra cloud cover, possibly a shower around San Diego County. But as far as temps on Saturday, 118s are possible, 119s as well around the Coachella Valley. And then Sunday, 120, 121, 122s are a good possibility. So dangerous heat. And that'll be the case on Monday as well before the numbers back off. So excessive heat watches right now. That will be a warning for those 3 days. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, as temps will be in the 115 to 122 range. We'll see some records fall over the southwest. So 118 both Saturday and Sunday for Palm Springs. The records are around that 120 mark. So it's going to be a tough spin to get those numbers to record levels. But thermal, another case. 119 forecast on Saturday. That is the record set back in 98. And 122 is what we're going to see Sunday for thermal. 120 the record, which will be smashed. That's set back in 85. So clear skies today and somewhat tomorrow before the clouds move in over the weekend. Surface moisture, we're looking at single-digit relative humidity today and tomorrow before those numbers begin to move up. We do have Christina right now, a tropical storm that could become a hurricane by tomorrow. After that, it'll begin to weaken over the weekend. And our Comfort Air 7-day forecast includes a high of 110 today, about the same Thursday, Friday before we get that excessive heat into the area Saturday, Sunday, and again Monday.
Well, you know, a lot of folks are very excited that Old Town La Quinta has finally slowly started to reopen, because we love the shops, we love the restaurants, and just the general strolling along that beautiful area. And one of the shops that has reopened is the Olive Oil Company, which is a favorite of mine because I love olive oil. So joining us now is one of the proprietors, Deb Deegan. Welcome, Deb.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You know, I don't know if you heard me say it, but I am a huge fan of olive oil. So tell me, why olive oil? What inspired you to create a shop entirely dedicated to olive oil?
Well, what happened was I retired and got bored. And my husband and I have traveled Italy extensively, gone to culinary school. We have researched olive oil and balsamic vinegars pretty thoroughly. And we decided, other than playing golf, we needed something to do. So we started to bring in some olive oils to the valley, some of the ones that we found that we prefer. And then we branched into the balsamic vinegars as well. So it was just, it started out as a hobby, and we've been at it for 9 years.
Wow. So the shop has been open for 9 years, or just the love of, oh, fabulous, fabulous. Well, you know, in our Your Health Today segments, our Thalia Hayden always has great tips about healthy eating. And of course, olive oil is considered one of those superfoods. It's a very nutritious and essential item that not only is tasty, but beneficial. Do you kind of factor that in when you school your customers and introduce them?
Yeah, we do. As I said, it kind of started with the olive oils. People are more familiar with using those than they are the balsamics. When I grew up, I knew nothing about olive oil. And after I married my Italian husband, I was well schooled in it. But we do a lot of pairings for people. Right now, people are looking for vinaigrettes, something nice and light for summer. So we will pick a nice flavored olive oil and then pair white balsamic with it. Both those oil and vinegars have very, very sound health value to them. The balsamics aid with digestion, and everybody knows that the olive oils are very healthy for you as well.
Absolutely. Delicious, nutritious, and it sounds like a kind of a fun idea to pair them. So tell me, how has business changed really since the pandemic for you?
Well, it has changed drastically for the good and bad. First of all, we lost our whole season, which is March, April, and May. The good part was I had a forced vacation. The second thing that happened was our website store went crazy. It has tripled in volume. So that's been wonderful. And our local customers have come to do curbside pickups, which has been very helpful. We were able to open early because we are a specialty grocery. So on May 4th, we reopened, and we've had a lot of great local support because, as you know, all of our Canadians and snowbirds have gone home.
Well, that really is good to know that you've been able to kind of start a little early, get a little jump start on it. And of course, I know going forward, do you have any plans? Have you thought of anything that could help in the olive oil industry? Now that you really probably can't travel back to Italy right now.
True, yeah. I could get a really good deal on airfare, I'm sure. But no, we're just expanding our website a little bit. We're expanding our flavors, both in the balsamics and the oils. We started carrying more pastas, more sauces, things like that, because people are at home cooking. We have some great one-pot meals for people who are really tired of cooking. It's just everything pasta into one pot, and those have been great. So we're expanding a little bit more into food products, and as well, a lot of gift items too. We have a lot of foodie customers that love to give gifts. So 40%, I think, of what goes out of here goes as hostess gifts, thank you gifts, thanks for watching the dog. So we're kind of expanding the gift idea.
Well, it sounds like you've definitely found some great solutions and even some silver linings in all of this. And let's remind everyone you're open 7 days a week. What are your hours?
7 days a week, 10 until 4 right now.
Great. And always open online.
Always open online at LaQuintaOliveOilCompany.com.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, Deb, and I'll definitely be coming in. Want to check out some of those vinaigrettes. Sound delicious.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much. We are talking skincare again today because we have our friend Uli Haslacher from Pour Moi Skincare with us. And Uli, I understand for the first time you're going to be offering a product along with our Climate Smart Desert product that actually works if we're going to take a little road trip to the beach or Los Angeles, any of the environs around us, even San Diego. That is a great solution. So welcome and tell us a little bit about that. But before you do that, please show everyone your hands again, because that to me is really sells the product. Talk to me about this great comparison.
Well, I wanted to show what Pour Moi did for me, a grandma, twice grandma in my face. So I demonstrated it on one of my hands. This is the hand I treated with Climate Smart Skincare every day. And this is the hand where I use a regular moisturizer. And Sandy, look at the difference. It's 30 years, some dermatologist tells me.
Wow, that is incredible. So 3 decades of aging has been removed as a result of these climate smart products, which is so great, Pour Moi. So talk to me about the fact that I know you've formulated them for different climates, and in the desert community, as we've discussed, we've had different needs and specific needs. But for those of us who are lucky enough to take a little road trip to the beach, Los Angeles, San Diego, that's a different product need, isn't it?
Exactly. So what you do is you match your day cream to the climate you are daily in. So in Palm Springs, you need always the desert day cream because it's hot and dry. But in LA, when you're on the beach, you get the humidity, you get the marine layers, and that's when you rotate over for the day where you are on the beach in California or San Diego or up north even to the tempered day cream. And by rotating them accordingly to the daily weather, you will get amazing, extraordinary anti-aging results, because most of the aging, Sandy, is external aging, the science of aging. That's why we call them the science of aging. It's not really biological aging. So it doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter what skin type you are, your visible part of your skin depends on the climate you are in.
Wow, that makes so much sense. And I know as difficult as it was, you were able to get a U.S. patent for your products, which is so impressive and amazing.
I know, I have it with me. I always brag a little bit about it because it's so rare. And what we had to show is that it's completely unique. So, you know, the stigma that everybody thinks skincare is all the same, just a different bottle and such a different brand. Not with Pour. This is truly a new skin care, and it works differently. And we had to prove also that it works. So you only get a U.S. patent if it meets all these criteria.
So I know there are 4 products and 3 steps, which makes it so easy. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yes, here's what you get for Palm Springs. Step 1 is the hydrating balancer. Think of it as your first glass of water you drink in the morning. It wakes up your skin. It's your first layer of anti-aging ingredients. Step 2 is the serum. It makes your skin, your smart skin, even smarter, because skin is very smart. It makes it climate smart. So it kicks repair and renewal in a desert climate, because that causes all of your external aging signs. And then step number 3, you lock it in with the climate specific day cream of the day. So when you're in Palm Springs, you use the desert day cream. And if you are going to LA on the beach and you have some humidity, you change over that day to the tempered day cream. They are all working in synergy, and they will give you these extraordinary results that I got and thousands of other people already got.
Well, I am so impressed, and I'm so grateful for you bringing this product to our desert, because, you know, I've had personally a few friends call you with questions, and you're so great about communicating, and we are all looking forward to hearing more about your products. So thank you so much, Julie. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Sandy. Bye-bye.